everyone, and welcome to Travel Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about getting through the airport the fastest way possible so you could start your trip off perfectly. And it starts at the beginning. It starts at that trip to the airport. Hope these tips are helpful. Let's get started. First of all, airports are very busy. You'll see that there's a lot of lines, a lot of traffic, and if you haven't traveled lately, I do travel a lot, and I notice they're a lot busier even than they used to be. So one of the very first tips I want to tell you about is to sign up for any trusted travel program. And let me tell you what some of those are. Like the TSA PreCheck. Definitely sign up for that. There is a cost involved, but it allows you to skip lines in over 200 airports. It's already in place. And some airports, you can really tell the difference. It helps even more than some others. Las Vegas is one, I'll tell you for sure. You are gonna skip all kinds of waiting and lines if you have the TSA PreCheck there. Los Angeles is another one. Even DFW, there's moments when the lines it could be up to 20 minutes standing in line to go through security, and you could get through in 5 minutes if you have the TSA PreCheck. Besides the little things that it's a trusted traveler program, they've already screened you so you don't have to take off your shoes, you don't have to take the laptop out of your bags, and it just makes the process so much smoother. There's also global entry. Global entry is more for international travel, and it's for the people returning home to go bypass all lines in the customs and go straight through. I've never seen a line in the global entry, and I've waited up to 2 to 3 hours before in DFW to get through customs coming home from an international trip. So definitely, if you travel any international, you really want to get global entry. And then there's Clear. You see that at fewer airports, but it is really great service. It bypasses any line through TSA even quicker than PreCheck or anything. And there is a fee for that, and you can do that online, and it's called Clear. So those are just 3 examples of a trusted traveler program that's gonna have you bypass the lines at the airport. Now, another tip is buy the right gear. When you're traveling, you know to travel comfortable, right? But really watch your shoes. And this is for men and women alike. Us women who like the bling bling and all that stuff, well, try to get a slip-on shoe. Not only to slip easily on and off when you go through the security, but even if you have the TSA PreCheck where you don't have to take off your shoes, if you have any kind of metal on your shoe, like some of my cutest shoes, I still always have to take off when I go through PreCheck because they make the alarm go off. So anything with metal, things like that. So wear a nice tennis shoe, slip-on shoe, something like that, that'll make it a lot easier for you. And also be aware of what's allowed ahead of time before you get to the airport, which, by the way, is on another Travel Tip Tuesday, all the TSA requirements, restrictions. That's an entire video if you want to refer back to it, or you can go online and find out what those are too, because you definitely want to be aware that you can't have a liquid with you, that your laptop's got to come out of the case, and it just makes it go smoother, not just for you, but everyone else in line as well. And then let's go over some tips that you could do before you leave home. First, check the status of your flight. I know that sounds simple and like everyone should do it, but even though I travel a lot, there's been times I haven't checked the status until I was almost there and found out the entire flight was canceled due to fog, and actually they had rebooked me. So be sure to always check the status of your flight and do your online check-in as well. And that'll help you to get through the lines quicker. You've already done your online check-in and probably even already showed your identification. Make sure your documents are easily accessible. This is a big one. You know you're going to be standing in line. You know you're going to have to show your government issued ID, a driver's license or a passport for either the ticket agent or the TSA agent. So have those, instead of digging through your purse and being that person that everybody's waiting for, have them easily accessible so you can get through that process as smooth as possible. Also, another tip is to check the airport parking situation online. They have different type of parking. There's off-site, and then there's parking right at the airport. You want to check what's available as well as their prices ahead of time. That just helps it. Again, you could go from lot to lot to lot, and you wouldn't have to do that if you pre-checked it ahead of time. And don't forget about valet parking, because if you're having a short trip, like maybe 24 hours, 48-hour trip, which happens, it's quicker to valet park, get right in, especially if you're running late. And in some airports, you could depart one terminal and arrive another one, and they bring the car to the terminal that you're arriving in. So it makes a very easy process. Of course, it comes with the cost, but check it out, because some airports, it's not that much more expensive. And then know where to go. This is something I do on every flight I take. I take the airport map and study it. What gate am I coming in on? Especially if I have a connection, so I know which gate I'm going to for my connection. But also, if I'm landing at that airport, I want to know where's the baggage claim area, where's the ground transportation, and if you're not taking a taxi and using a ride share, you want to know where you go for the ride share, because sometimes it's in an opposite end of the airport than where the taxis will be, or any other type of grand transportation. So you definitely want to check out that and study the airport. Now let's talk about some things you can do while at the airport that's going to make this process smooth as well. We already talked about your documents, having your documents readily accessible to you. Again, that helps you and everyone else behind you. But also weigh your bags before you get to the airport. If you don't have one, on Amazon you can order a little scale. They're like $5 to $7. Stick it in your luggage. They are lifesavers. Again, you don't want to be that person that's just 2 or 3 pounds overweight and has to unzip her suitcase there, try to put some in a carry-on, and don't be surprised. No surprises when it comes to your bags and their weight. You don't want a hefty, up to $100 or more overweight fee for just 5 pounds, 4 pounds, 3 pounds overweight. It could cost you $100. So weigh your bags before you get there, and make sure by checking online what the weight recommendation is for that airline, because all of them do have their own restrictions and rules. And then once you get through security, check your flight status again. I know you checked it maybe on your way to the airport or the night before, but check it again when you get through security, because you may find you're in the wrong terminal, it's been changed, and the gate's been changed. Little incidences like that, you want to keep yourself aware. Also, get to the gate quickly. I know if you're in a lounge, that's okay because they make announcements, but if you're shopping or hanging around some food places, because they make that all very attractive at the airport these days, they could be making announcements at your gate that you need to hear. So I advise to go right to your gate. Now here's the last 2 tips I want to tell you, which are the most important to me. Download the phone number of the airline in your phone so you have it readily available, and download the app to that airline so it's on your phone. And let me tell you why. I had a personal experience more than once, but I'm going to tell you about one of them. And I was at the gate. The flight was delayed. It was delayed. It was delayed. I just had a feeling this flight's going to cancel. Well, there was no announcement about that, but then I got a text because I was on the app. I'm downloaded. They have my information. I got a text the flight canceled. And no one at the gate knew this yet because they hadn't heard an announcement. I have the phone number to the airline's phone number. I made a phone call. I saw the flights available on the app. I told them the flight I wanted. I got my flight booked. I'm done. They just now announced now that the flight's been canceled, and tell everyone to go back through security, go and stand at the ticket counter and get yourself rebooked. And I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to go through that line. I didn't have to go back out of security and back in. I was already rebooked for a later flight, did it all over the phone with the airline because I was notified first, and I was readily available by being prepared, and got myself rebooked and just went to the next gate and waited for that flight to go. So I hope these tips that I shared with you and personal experiences are very helpful for you for your next trip. Thank you.